Okay, good morning everyone, or good afternoon to those of you in another part of the world. Welcome to Ingmar Medical's webinar, Troubleshooting 101 for the ASL 5000 Breathing Simulator. Our presenter today will be Anthony Rocco, Calibration and Service Manager at Ingmar Medical, and my name is Brian Lynn. I am the Sales Manager, and I will be the moderator today. This webinar is intended for users of the ASL 5000 Breathing Simulator. Our educational customers will recognize the ASL 5000 as the heart of the RespiSim system. Our research and engineering customers will recognize the ASL 5000 just as it is pictured here. As you all know, the ASL 5000 is a software-controlled, high-fidelity breathing simulator. The goal for today is to help you understand some of the most common technical challenges you may encounter and how to overcome them. Today's webinar will last approximately 30 minutes. The first 15 minutes will be a presentation from Anthony, and we will reserve the remaining 15 minutes for questions and answers. Please use the questions box on your GoToMeeting control panel to ask questions at any time. A recording of the webinar will be available for you at the conclusion of the webinar, and this link will be emailed to you, or you can access it under the training section of our website. So without further ado, I'd like to turn it over to Anthony for his presentation.
Hello everyone, my name is Anthony Rocco and I am the Calibration and Service Manager here at Ingmar Medical. I've worked for Ingmar Medical for 12 years, primarily with the ASL 5000 for the last 10. So this webinar today, we will cover what I find a lot in my emails and phone calls as common issues with the ASL 5000 itself. So this webinar will cover the red light switch and what its purpose is, the setup and order of operations of the ASL 5000, troubleshooting with the Ingmar support team if there happens to be an issue with your ASL 5000. So the equipment that we'll cover today is the ASL 5000 hardware itself, the connection types to the ASL 5000, and the terminal computer with the ASL 5000 software loaded on it. So continuing with what we started with, the red light. So we have a lot of questions that come with the red light. The most important everything in this webinar that everybody needs to understand is that for the ASL 5000 hardware to run, the red light needs to be depressed, meaning pushed in. There are two things that happen with the red light. One, it needs to be pushed in, and after you turn on the ASL 5000, the red light needs to go off. If you happen to turn on your ASL 5000 and the red light is pushed in and you happen to see the red light not go off, that is an indicator to contact Ingmar Medical, that there could be something going on, an issue with the ASL 5000 hardware. So in terms of order of operations on how to connect to the ASL 5000, this is another common issue I find. There's just not an understanding of the timing of how to connect to the ASL 5000 hardware. The first thing you do is you turn on the ASL 5000, you wait for the red LED button to turn off. This is comparable to turning on your computer for the first time. If you imagine the ASL 5000 like a computer, there's about 30 to 40 seconds before you get to your desktop. It is similar with the ASL 5000. So once the red light turns off, it is ready to accept the ASL 5000 software, which is on your computer. Then you will be prompted to choose your connection type to the ASL 5000. Whenever you start the ASL 5000 software, you'll be brought to a welcome screen where you'll be asked to choose one of our two primary connection methods. via Ethernet or via USB RS-232. So the two main connection types that we have, Ethernet DHCP and USB RS-232, are our primary connection methods. So Ethernet DHCP, whenever you receive an ASL 5000 from Ingmar Medical, we provide you with a router. Now, I receive a lot of questions about the router. What is the purpose of the router? The router has absolutely nothing to do with the internet. A lot of people ask that question. The router is simply to issue an IP address to both the computer and the ASL 5000. It works as an ad hoc network. This is because most areas, most laboratories have a server that sometimes have firewalls or sometimes have administrative rights that will not let you run the ASL 5000 over your server. If you know your server to be a DHCP server, meaning whenever you connect your computer into the wall, your computer automatically receives a dynamic IP address, you can easily run your ASL 5000 over your own network. In the case that you cannot do that, we provide a router in order to simply bypass that and connect straight to the ASL 5000. The other connection type that we use is a USB RS-232. The picture on the right here is for a newer ASL 5000, which it takes a straight USB connection to the host port of the back of the ASL 5000. Older ASL 5000s have a USB to RS-232 adapter along with an RS-232 patch cable. Whenever connecting via Ethernet DHCP, you will be prompted with a simulator identification. The purpose of this is if you are running your ASL 5000 over your network, it will connect directly to the ASL 5000 hardware in your area or in your laboratory. Whenever you click Ethernet, it will say an attempt is being made to connect to ASL 5000 identified as ASL _, and then that would be the serial number of the ASL 5000 that you are trying to connect to. The serial number is located on the top of the ASL 5000 on the calibration sticker, on the back of the ASL 5000 on a serial label, and also underneath is where the service tag is. Now note that once you enter this information in, you don't have to enter it in every time. You would simply click OK the next time you connect if you connect the same way every time using Ethernet DHCP. Another common issue I find is when a user is using USB RS-232, a COM port issue. This is a big issue whenever you're using a straight connection. Whenever you first plug in the USB cable to your computer, to your terminal, Windows will automatically assign it a COM port. The ASL 5000 software is looking for COM1. That is preset in the ASL 5000 software. So to check that, you want to go to your device manager and ensure that your USB to RS-232 converter is set to COM1. You can see that on the right-hand side of this tile. So before calling, if you have an issue with your ASL 5000 hardware or with your ASL 5000 software, before calling into Ingmar Medical to help us funnel your issue, the best thing to do is to have your serial number of your unit ready, the software version that you're using, the connection type that you're using to connect to that ASL 5000, and a description of the issue. On this tile, you'll see the phone number of how to call in or the support number to email in. Just an explanation of what happens whenever you call in or whenever you send an email. An incident will be created. The correct person will then send you an email or phone call and to touch base with you. Then there will be a conversation of the issue. If we cannot solve that over the phone or via email, then we would like to set up a GoToMeeting, which would be similar to what we are doing now, to remote into your computer to actually try to see the issue. Some things cannot be solved over the phone or via email. And if that cannot be solved via GoToMeeting, then we would issue you an SRO, which is a service return order number, and the unit would be sent back to Ingmar Medical.
Okay, thank you very much, Anthony. That concludes the presentation. We would like to start taking some questions and answers from the audience now. So let us know any issues that you're having or any questions that you have about the material we just covered. Okay, we do have one more question. One question here from Dave. Dave asks, can I connect to the ASL 5000 wirelessly? I'll let Anthony take that one.
The answer is yes. Every time an ASL 5000 is purchased, a router does come with the ASL 5000. You would simply connect the router to the ASL 5000 itself, and then you would connect to that router wirelessly as you would any Wi-Fi in an airport or in a coffee shop, and connect directly to that router, which the router name would be labeled on the outside of the router. It's usually Ingmar Wi-Fi. And then you would choose your connection type as Ethernet, because even though you're wireless, it is still an Ethernet connection from the router to the ASL 5000. And you could simply use your laptop anywhere you would like and have the ASL with the router sitting on top of it. That would be the best way to run the ASL 5000 wirelessly. Okay,
so we have another question here from Eric. Eric asks, can you go over connecting to the ventilator? So let me go ahead and talk for a second about that. Let me flip back to our image of the ASL 5000 here. As many of you know, the ASL 5000 can be connected to any ventilator or actually any respiratory device for that matter. You see here in the images of the ASL 5000 that we do have a standard 22 millimeter port on the front. And this would be used to connect to any device just like a real patient. So you can think of the ASL 5000 box here as your patient, and you can think of that port as the ET tube or way of interfacing with the patient. So you would just connect the patient circuit to that port directly on the front. Okay, so a question here from Brittany to elaborate on the wireless connection question. Brittany asks, is there a risk in connecting wirelessly? Is it more reliable to connect via Ethernet?
The risk would be running anything wirelessly. You always have a chance of a signal being dropped or interference due to the building that you are in. Our most secure connection that Ingmar Medical would like all of our users to go with is a straight shot Ethernet connection, meaning you either go over your server or through the router. This is our primary connection and our most secure connection.
Okay, so our next question here is from Ingrid. Thank you, Ingrid. The question is what to do if the red light is not turning off. I have tried to restart the lung several times, but it does not help.
Yes, Ingrid. The beginning of this slide, I said if the red light is depressed and you turn on the ASL 5000 and the red light does not go off, that is an immediate indicator to contact Ingmar Medical for support for your ASL 5000. That means that something is going on with the hardware of the ASL 5000.
Yeah, so let me go ahead and for these additional questions, let me put that slide back up with the contact information right here. Yes, so that's correct. I guess the very first thing would be to make sure that that red light is pressed in. And then if that doesn't resolve your issue, then you would want to contact us directly. So that leads us very nicely to our next question here from Robbie. Robbie asks, why is the red light a switch to begin with rather than just an indicator light?
The red light is a switch and not a LED like the other LEDs on the front of the ASL 5000 for two purposes. The red light, it does a dual purpose. Once the red light is depressed and the red light goes off, that is the indicator that it is ready to accept the software, the ASL 5000 software from your computer. The other purpose of the red light is it is a switch in terms of a kill switch. If you have the ASL 5000 running and you want to immediately turn off the ASL 5000, the quickest way to do it, say you are running the ASL 5000 wirelessly and the terminal is across the room, but you want to turn off the ASL 5000 motor, you would simply press in that red button and that would shut down the motor. So it is a dual purpose switch button, which would make one, we want it to it's an indicator of ready to accept the software, and two, it is a switch in order to kill the motor in case you can't get to your terminal in time.
Okay, thank you. Our next question here is from our friend Vivian. Hi, Vivian. Vivian asks, what are the sequence of steps to go through if the ASL software can't find the ASL?
I would ask which connection type are you using there. If you're using Ethernet, the one thing you want to ensure is that you are on the same network. That you want to make sure that you're having an IP address issued to your computer terminal and to your ASL 5000, and those IP addresses are on the same gateway, on the same switch. That would be the first thing. If you're having an issue via COM port, via USB RS-232, we want to ensure that that COM port is correct in order to connect to the ASL 5000. The other thing you want to ensure is that for older ASL 5000s that you are connected to the host port on the back of the ASL 5000. Newer ASL 5000s, there's only one port to connect to.
Yes, so to elaborate on that first point there, if you are using Ethernet, which is the one we recommend with the router we've provided, you do want to make sure that you're connected to that router in the same way that you would check your wireless or internet connection network. So that would be found on the Windows side.
Yes, you would like to go to your internet connections, which would be in the bottom right-hand corner of any Windows computer, and then just check that there is a connection. You would see a connection to a gateway, and then it would simply say no internet. But again, the purpose of the router is simply to give an IP address to both the ASL 5000 and the terminal.
Yeah, and Anthony, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that network would be called Ingmar Wi-Fi typically.
Yes.
So
yes.
Ingmar Wi-Fi is the one you're looking for to be connected to in that network area of your Windows. So hopefully that helps. Okay, let's move on here. We do have a question from Susan. Susan asks, what if I can't change my RS-232 COM port due to administrative rights of the computer?
So this is where I like to show our parallels here, so we could show the actual software. So over here in the software, let's make sure we're showing the screen.
Okay, so everyone should be seeing our welcome window now to the software.
Okay, so if you're having issues connecting, if you go into Device Manager and you cannot connect you cannot change your COM port to COM1 due to administrative rights. This is also something that I've seen. The one thing you want to do is we have this nice tool, which is a project file. So if you simply click Load, Modify Load Project File, you could choose your connection type here. So we would like it to be COM1, but if you go into your Device Manager and your USB to RS-232 is simply sent to COM3, COM4, you would simply choose COM3 and save it. And that's all. You would save it and you could overwrite the project file, click OK, and close. Another nice feature from the welcome window, if you connect to your ASL 5000 the same way every time, you do not have to click full choice menu. You could the current project file will remember what you did your last session. So if you connect using your COM port, you connect using Ethernet, all you simply have to do is click from current project file, and it will always remember the way you connected last time.
Okay. Thank you, Anthony. Okay, we do have one more question here.
Well, I could go through, yes, there's a question now about the project file. One more time about the project file. In the project file, it's just not for connection settings. It's also for, this is your personal preferences. Say there are parameters that only you want to see every time. You don't want to have to go find them every time. And we have 7 tabs across the top of our software. If you want to simply change, you don't want to see breath rate every time. You would like to see, the pause time in seconds. Then you can change all of these parameters so that every time you click on that window, you will see that. And then you could even get into, aesthetics, where you could change the personal appearance. You want to see that your lines a different color. This is important. If you would like, whenever you are done with your simulation, every time you're done with an Ingmar simulation, it will always save to the program files x86 ASL software 3.5 ASL data folder. If you do not want it to save there, you want it to save to a folder on your desktop, you want it to save to a folder on your network, you could simply click here and pick the folder you would like to change it to. If you want it to save to your desktop every time, you could easily do so. And then the same way, you would click Save As and Close. And then whenever you're ready, you would turn on your ASL 5000, wait for the red light to go off, and click From Current Project File. And then all your settings that you made, all your personal settings that you made are saved.
So I think that wraps it up for us today here. So thanks for joining us. I hope it was helpful for you. Here on the screen, you'll see where you can find information about upcoming webinars on our website. So thank you again, and we hope to see you again in the future.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.